Hey, Angie Rae here with Girl That's Toxic. Hope you're doing well. Hit the like and subscribe button. Go to the About page to see how to help grow this channel and leave me your comments. I love to hear from you. Today I want to speak from the perspective of a journalist. And I wanted to talk about Stephen A. Smith to help me do that because Stephen A. Smith is a journalist for ESPN. I'm sure you all know him. And I just ran across something that he said, and it reminded me of being a journalist, being a news anchor, being an on-air personality, and having to make it work. Okay, even when it's just not, this is just not the person you need to be, anchoring with, your co-partner there. Just, it's not always the best. Okay, you do what you can to make it work. But sometimes as a journalist, as you're sitting on the desk, as an anchor, as a journalist, as someone who is on a panel, it can be very difficult dealing with a lot of personalities. And so I really was able to respect and acknowledge and really feel like I understood what he was saying because been there, done that, should have written a book. But anyway, here he is, Stephen A. Smith, and let's hear what he has to say. He is talking about Max Kellerman, and that's the person that they had a show together, and this is what he had to say.
I didn't like working with him, man. It's just that damn simple. I didn't like it. I thought the show was stale. I thought that we had flatlined when it came to the public at large, and I'm trying to win.
Stop that right there. I'm trying to win, okay? Stephen A. Smith just presented us with the information of this is not going to help us win. The show felt stale. He didn't particularly care for him, and he's professionally, and whatever banter they had. And so I'm with Stephen A. Smith. I'm trying to win. Irrespective of the format I'm in, whether it's this format or whether it was broadcast news or whether it's cable, it doesn't matter. Whatever position you put me in, I'm trying to win. I want it to be great for you. He wants it to be great for you.
But you weren't an athlete and you weren't a journalist. And the absence of the two components left people wondering, why should we listen to you? Okay, well, you might have had that figured out on Sports Nation, or you might have had that figured out on another show. But on this show, if you looked at the content emanating in the social stratosphere, meaning YouTube and other components that you use to measure one's cachet, Q ratings, focus groups, all of these different things, it was like I was damn near doing the show by myself because we were oceans apart in terms of
Been there.
cachet.
Done that. What he's saying about the cachet. And it's been throughout my career. I remember when it happened initially, when I got my start in Mississippi, and one person, they asked me to anchor. I didn't want to anchor. I finally agreed to do it for a week. They begged me to stay on. I did. The person they put me with thought he was the cat's meow, thought he was the reason for the season, honey, that he was the reason everybody was watching. Then one day I noticed he was being real nice to me, and I'm like, something's up. Sure enough, they had done some research. People weren't watching for him. They were watching for me. They were watching for Stephen A.
Well, how are you oceans apart from me if you sitting right across from me? I've been very honest and very consistent about it. There's nothing personal. We weren't enemies or anything. To be real, we ain't spoke since. Other than hi and bye.
Well.
Or if I had to go on the show when they were doing the morning show, I would get interviewed. Mm-hmm. But there's been no conversations since, and that's fine with me. Mm-hmm. That's no problem, because it wasn't like we were boys or anything like that. But at the end of the day, it was all business to me, and it was about, look, man, I'm trying to win.
Wow, it's so hard when you are a part of a team. It's really hard when it's not clicking. It's very difficult. And I'm going to tell you, I know that you can feel it. I know that you out there who might be watching me, who might be watching Stephen A. Smith or anyone, you are smart, you are intelligent, And you can tell when folks are faking the funk and when they don't get along. And it's a horrible position to be in, to have to watch it. And it's terrible, I'm telling you, when you are in it.
And I don't believe I can win with you. I didn't like working with him, man.
Yeah, that's, you know, that has happened. That has happened to me before, where I just felt like this isn't going to work. I can't win with this person. And my job was to win. His job is to win. Our jobs are attached to ratings. Like he was talking about Q scores, ratings, you know, social media exposure, et cetera, et cetera. And so I really appreciated this because as a journalist, and Stephen A. Smith is a journalist, it really spoke to, I think, some things that I have gone through in my life. Max Kellerman, by the way, he got resigned, as I called it, along with a lot of other people. But I'm glad Stephen A. Smith is still there. I know one of the things that has been said about Max Kellerman is that, and I think Stephen A. has even said it, he was very smart. He's an Ivy League guy. Okay, you're very smart. But I've seen him in action, and I just was never a fan of him either. But I am of Stephen A. Smith. And so now let's go to the next thing. So Shannon Sharpe, they tried to resign him from ESPN. He was on the show with Skip Bayless, who just, whatever. Y'all remember when Richard Sherman, when Skip was interviewing him, and he ticked Richard Sherman off, and Richard, Seahawk, Seattle Seahawk, in my 24 years at life, I am better at life than you. That's what he told Skip. So, Shannon and Skip, oil and water, whatever, just was not, it wasn't good. So I am really happy and excited that he's on a show with Stephen A. Awesome. Now watch this exchange. This is what grace looks like. Your mama taught you about it. Here's what it looks like.
I agree with everything you just said. And he needs to stay his ass off social media. Because here's the thing, Skip.
Steve, bang! It's all right. It's okay, my man. It's all right.
See? He made a mistake. Shannon has worked with Skip for however long, and he's new to this show with Stephen A. And he was talking to Stephen about something, was really getting into it, and he called him Skip. Okay? He made a mistake. So Stephen A. could have chosen to cancel him, to be a jerk, but that's not what he did. Grace.
7 years, bro. It's okay. Don't listen. Don't worry about the choice. Stephen
Don't break that bracelet, though. That's what I'm more concerned about.
Stephen A., it's all right, baby.
I agree with everything.
It's just so gracious. And I'm all about being gracious. And that was just so kind and gracious. And the young lady who was there also letting him know, no, you're part of the team. Don't worry about that. You been with him for 7 years. It's bound to be some little mistakes and stuff, you know? So I just appreciated the grace that Stephen A. Smith showed, his new partner, Shannon Sharpe. I think that they're going to be a great team. And I think that this is a really good pairing. I'm really so sad. I really liked Bomani Jones, but you know how some people are good on a show with someone versus being by themselves. So I like that Stephen A.'s got somebody still to bounce off of, and that we see the graciousness that he can provide someone who, quite frankly, deserved it and needed it. So keep up the good work, Stephen A. Smith. And you too, Shannon Sharpe.